Brazil's Bolsonaro, former president charged with mastermind coup plot and a Trump ally, has been ordered under house arrest. So he's been under house arrest for a while. And Trump's politically motivated sanctions against Brazil are straining relations among an old ally. So that's definitely something that folks are talking about, just like they're talking about those fast moving wildfires burning nearly 21,000 acres across Northern California. And the second earthquake hit New York City region within several days. So yes, earthquakes don't just happen in California; they also happen on the East Coast as well. And definitely, it looks like there was some happening in New York and New Jersey. I remember one time, even a couple of well, several years back, that there was an earthquake here in North Carolina as well. As a matter of fact, I think I was working at Measurement when that last one took place, and we were all trying to figure out what's going on because there are tremor lines throughout the country and throughout the world, and we were impacted by one, and this was pre-COVID and everything like that, so before the pandemic. And Vance is heading to Indiana on redistricting, and the Cali Dems are eyeing 5 GOP seats. So I guess Vance is going to get his views put in on this whole redistricting thing as well. And a GOP representative, Mills, has been accused of threatening to release nude videos of his ex-girlfriend. So this is somebody that is a representative that was going to do that whole tit for tat thing with revealing some nude videos and all along those lines. I'm gonna bring in Rick and see if he ever did anything like that with any of his exes, where he was gonna reveal nude videos or anything like that with any of his exes before he got to his lovely wife and everything like that. Because
I was a stripper and a nude model for decade after decade, so there's stuff of me naked, but so there's no ex. I didn't have that many girlfriends, and no, we were in the pre-video era. So any nudes I did to myself.
You did to yourself, and you didn't try to do any
sort of blackmail. There's a movie called Uncle Something where it's the only movie I've ever been in, and I'm naked. So yeah, I'm immune to that kind of stuff.
He's developed antibodies toward that.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's all kinds of people that are doing all kinds of scandals because a New Jersey police lieutenant was accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend in a murder-suicide. So apparently even some of these law enforcement and people that are supposed to be in leadership don't know how to not do stupid things. So apparently sometimes people in leadership just decide to be stupid as well and do crazy things along those lines, even whether it's killing somebody or whether it's trying to blackmail somebody.
Well, I mean, I'm not impressed with the leadership, especially the political leadership in the United States. To me, it's pretty poor. I would rank, if I had a grading system, rank them D. Mark Cuban was on discussing this the other day, and I give him like an A or an A plus. I mean, the guy's really sharp. But what really is very sad is when you do run across people that are smart, they're not in politics. I mean, and Rick just pointed it out. We keep pointing out the smart people that are actuaries. As a matter of fact, in the demographic group, I'd say the smartest group of people I worked with were actuaries and chess grandmasters. They're both really smart people. The people who think they're smart but aren't are lawyers. For some reason, they think a world of themselves. And frankly, when you do a deep dive into their knowledge base, it's pretty pathetic. And, yet they dominate Congress. So we have a very sad situation because a lot of the problems could be solved with mathematics and simple mathematics. You're not talking vectors, matrices. You don't need linear regression models. It's just pure, future value calculations. But it's like it's beyond these people.
Well, speaking of calculations, one of the major companies, and I know that later on Sasha will be talking about modern investment, but a major company in the field of ride sharing got some bad news because Uber received a report of sexual assault or sexual misconduct in the United States almost every 8 minutes on average between 2017 and 2022. Sealed court records show a level far more pervasive than what the company had disclosed.
Remember, it's a good call.
Proclaimed that it was one of the most safest options for travel with aggressive media campaigns and policy reports on its website about the rarity of these serious attacks. But inside Uber, teams of data scientists, and I know how much Rick loves data scientists and safety experts, spent years studying the problem. The company has tested tools that proved effective at making trips safer, including sophisticated matching algorithms, mandatory video recording, and pairing female passengers with female drivers. Still, Uber delayed or did not require its drivers to adopt some of the most promising programs, nor did it warn passengers about factors it linked to attacks, according to interviews with more than a dozen current and former employees. Internal documents and court records are saying. So hundreds of these records have been under siege as part of the large-scale sexual assault litigation against Uber. So Uber is facing some problems because they are getting some of their drivers that are not being all that tested in terms of their record and all along those lines. So what's your thought around that, Rick?
Well, no, I just want to go back to Mark Cuban for a second, where I mean, people have for years have urged him to run for president, and he'd make an excellent president. He's good, he's smart, but because he's smart, he won't do it because he's got better. He sees that it would be a waste of his time, and what he's been disrupting the prescription drug market. He's come up with systems that have put leverage on pharmaceutical systems to get people drugs for like 90% off. Mm-hmm. Unlike Trump's bullshit where he says 15%.
Well, but he might be a good president.
You're muted.
Go ahead. Mark. I did have a question for Nick coming back to this Uber case because it deals with sexual assault and it's a legal matter. But Hannah Niles, the Uber's head of safety for the Americas, said in a statement that quite a few of these things are less serious. She said 75% of the 400,181 reports were less serious, such as making comments about someone's appearance, flirting, or using explicit language. So she added the reports had not been audited by the company and could include incorrect or fraudulent reports. So how much did you get in trouble for just like saying somebody got nice hair?
I don't know. Then you see you're dealing with state law issues generally when you're making comments like that, and state law differs from state to state. But generally, as I talk about Uber is designed to make money for the people who founded Uber, not for the people that work at Uber. And it's just a really sad commentary on the U.S. Capitalistic system. The money flows up to the top, and the people who are doing the work make very little money, but the people at the top pull down big bucks. The ones that founded Uber, the ones that manage Uber. For myself, I try not to take Uber or Lyft. I try to take taxis. I know people think, oh, they cost more. Yeah, but the thing is, the people are vetted better. You just got a higher quality person generally in a taxi than you will on an Uber. Uber is the gig economy. Somebody goes, well, I need another job, so I'll become an Uber driver. And it's not like they have any qualifications. They just jump up and they become an Uber driver or Lyft driver. So I'm not a fan, and I've taken them before. It's just.
Well, apparently, I know we just had the medical show and everything, but they're saying that ridership has increased, especially after, quote unquote, the COVID-19 pandemic. Because like we always talk about on the medical show, there's a lot of folks that are under this myth that the pandemic is over. So since they think the pandemic is over, then they're starting to go to Uber and going to eating apps like DoorDash and stuff like that. So apparently this might be, as you were talking about with the gig economy, one of the boosts in the gig economy because people are like, hey, it's over, so I can jump in an Uber.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's not over. So we know from medicine and science, COVID-19 is, killing 1,000 people a week in the U.S. That's not a good number. But what gets me is, why isn't the media reporting this? Why are we downplaying? That's 52,000 people a year that are dying of COVID. What are your thoughts?
We're overwhelmed with so much other bullshit. Like yesterday, Trump went out on the roof of the White House and did his Trump dance. Why? And we probably got more coverage of our weird president dancing on the roof of the White House than we did about.
This might be for Dr. Sharif and everything, because I know he's been talking about some of the good things that Trump has done for the world and for Bangladesh and everything like that. But apparently, President Donald Trump is expected to announce today the creation of the American Manufacturing Program, which is got $100 billion pledge from Apple Incorporated to expand its U.S. operations. So Apple is going to be doing a lot more work in the U.S., and this is one of his big claims of victory. So the move marks a major shift in tech industry supply chains and deepens Apple's investment in domestic productions amid the ongoing tariff negotiations. So
we'll see. When Trump announces,
hold on, the $600 billion over 4 years, and the White House calls this pledge a significant acceleration of Apple's domestic production. So I guess we're going to have a lot of Apple.
Yeah, we'll see. Trump has announced these business government partnerships before, and they haven't come through. And when they do come through, they're just part of doing normal business. It's not like Trump did anything to make Apple do this. Trump is piggybacking on Apple, and so we'll see if it happens, and B, if Trump had really had anything to do with it.
Hey, and we have news. I know you're always knocking Nick the Democratic side, but we do have news now as to who is going to be following in the footsteps, since he can't do a third term. Trump on Tuesday, which would have been yesterday, offered his strongest public endorsement yet of Vice President J.D. Vance's political future, calling him most likely to succeed as the leader of the MAGA movement. So the remarks made during a White House event mark a notable shift from earlier comments in which Trump declined to name a clear heir. So now he's saying that he's going to be the heir, and he floated the possibility of Secretary of State Marco Rubio joining Vance in some form, suggesting that being the potential Republican ticket pairing. So what are we thinking about a Vance-Rubio ticket for 2028? Well, Nick disappeared, but what's your thoughts on that, Sasha?
Yeah, it's probably I'm not very enthusiastic on that ticket, but practically it's very possible that that's what will happen.
Yeah. We'll see which way that goes, and they're still trying to figure out the Democrats. Go ahead, Rick.
So Vance is has been by tech billionaires who don't believe in democracy, tech billionaires who think that they should be in charge of making decisions for the country. And Trump himself is not a strong supporter of democracy. Trump wants his decisions to overrule everything else. And Vance is in that same mold, except maybe even more dangerous because he's younger, smarter, and has a bunch of billionaires behind him.
Speaking of billionaires behind him and everything, Rick, you'll love this because you brought him up before and everything. But apparently a member of Doge that has an unusual nickname, that being Big Balls and everything like that, has been, there's two 15-year-olds that have been arrested following a violent attempted carjacking that left him bloodied and bruised. So Corstein, a prominent figure in the Doge, was attacked early Sunday morning in Logo Circle while trying to protect his significant other from a group of teenagers attempting to steal their vehicle. So apparently they were trying to steal the vehicle, and I guess he was trying to be brave and protect his significant other.
Okay, so that's a minor crime story, but the major implication of it is, based on that, Trump is threatening to federalize the city of Washington, D.C., which is take away local government, take away a local mayor, police chief, all that stuff, and replace them with federal authorities. Just take it over, which is, Washington, D.C. has worked for decades to gain autonomy to be a city like any other city with local governance, and Trump just wants to sweep all that away.
Yeah. Hey, Sasha, apparently Witkoff is meeting Trump Witkoff is meeting Putin to talk about this ceasefire deadline that is looming and everything. So they apparently met earlier today, and this is before that White House imposed deadline for Russia to agree to a ceasefire or face sweeping economic penalties. So after all this years of war, are we finally going to get a ceasefire? And is this something that Trump's going to negotiate through his good friend Witkoff and everything like that? Because he is trying to make it. And apparently Yuri Yashikov, who is a Putin longtime foreign policy aide, said both sides have exchanged signals on Ukraine and broader U.S.-Russia relationships, but they emphasized that further comments would follow Witkoff's report to President Trump. So are we going to get a ceasefire that Witkoff and Trump are going to negotiate?
No, we are not going to get ceasefire. Don't even dream about it and don't discuss that. It's not possible at all because Putin's goal is to not even this 4 or 5 provinces of Ukraine. His goal is to defeat all Ukraine, make it a Russian province, and from that base he would be free to go farther to Europe, and he doesn't care about the Article 5th of NATO. He doesn't believe in that, and but he cannot do that before he will settle things in Ukraine. And settle for Putin means Ukraine's complete either liquidation or just complete resignation. And that's what Putin is about to get. Now, Putin doesn't believe that U.S. Will go for this sanctions or so on because he knows that inside out, Trump really wants to be friends with Putin and Russia. He has business plans there and so on. That's the reason when he said he sent Witkoff in the last moment, because if Witkoff will bring just a tiny bit of good news, maybe that I've heard that Russia may offer something like ceasefire in the air, so there will be no more bombardment, at least for 30 days. So even if you bring only that, it will result in Donald Trump prolonging this ultimatum from 50 days to 60 days, maybe 100 days, or maybe 500 days, or whatever it might be. So he's still looking for some kind of excuse not to go ahead with the sanctions and not to escalate the situation with Putin. So I don't have high hope that on the August 8th we will see all the sanctions announced and so on. I don't believe that will happen.
We don't believe that Trump, as he promised, day one, actually before day one, the MAGA idiots, they're all excited that he's going to solve the war before he even took office, day one. You're telling me that was all a lie? Is that what we're saying?
It was all a lie, and not only that, this is a scary group. Jacoby, you'll love this one, and John. This is a scary group because apparently we got another one of these lovely executive orders. I think Rick will even like this one as well, because they're going to establish a federal task force to oversee preparation for the 2028 Summer Olympics, which is coming in your area, Rick, and everything. And they're saying that they're going to pledge a safe, seamless, and historically successful event, and it'll mark the first U.S.-hosted Olympics in Salt Lake City, 2002 Winter Game. But this is who's on the task force. This is who's on the task force. Talk about a scary group. Joining Trump on the task force is Vice President Vance, Attorney General Pam Bondi, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and several other senior officials. But
Trump is effing retarded, and his lackeys. The LA has done the Olympics twice before, 1932, 1984. We have a ton of sports facilities. We have a ton, like LA, we have UCLA, USC. We've got the downtown arenas for pro basketball, for pro hockey. It's a great city to host the Olympics, and we will certainly do it more competently without Trump's involvement. Now, one issue we have is LA has about 73,000 homeless people. We have 3 years to figure out what to do about them so our city doesn't look like crap on international TV. But I don't trust Trump to come up with any solutions. Trump bankrupts casinos, the easiest business in the world. When other casinos were,
He's a stable genius. Come on.
he's America's worst businessman. From 1985 through 2015, Trump lost more money than any other American.
He's not a stable genius? I was told. He told us he's a stable genius. We don't believe him?
His professor at Wharton said he was the dumbest fucking student he's ever had.
I'm teasing you. Of course I
know, but like what his involvement with the Olympics would, he probably, he's got a short attention span. He probably won't do much at all.
He won't do much at all, but the rest of the gang, Joey, what do you think? Because we're going to have Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem trying to help with the security of the Olympics and everything like that. That's a scary notion to me.
Wonderful team.
Unless they're going to try and secure the Olympics like they're trying to secure the Epstein files.
No, that'll be next. That'll come right after the Epstein files will be released right after they figure out the Olympics. Don't you worry.
They protected those things. They put those things in Fort Knox.
We'll be lucky to keep the Olympics. Hold on. Come on. We'll be lucky to keep the 2028 Olympics. Trump denied the Venezuelan senior Little League team visas to come to the U.S. to play in the Little League World Series. If Trump starts playing games with not letting other countries come to the U.S. to compete in the World Cup in 2026, we may lose those events. The international governing parties or committees may just take those events away from us.
Are you saying that Trump will do these kind of things for his own personal political gain?
Well, for distraction. Why would he bring up the Olympics? Why would he get on top of the White House yesterday and do the Trump dance?
I'm teasing you, of course.
I know, but if not to distract from Trump Epstein, it's all just like frantic garbage from that guy.
Speaking of frantic garbage, hey Sasha, there was an article, I think it was in Newsweek and Bloomberg, that apparently with this war that's going on in Russia, that the rich Russians have gotten richer. So there was an article that came out earlier today that talked about how these oligarchs, and they named several of them, have increased their wealth during the war and everything like that. So are they the ones that are keeping Russia and Putin going? Because they named people like Pavel Durov, who's got $3.27 billion, and Alisher Yasimov, who's got $3.23 billion, and I'm just going down the list, but not all of them. Victoria Rashkanov, who's got $1.57 billion. So they said that they have increased their amount of wealth during this horrible war that's been going on and everything, in Ukraine's brave defense against this Russian invasion. So is that who's keeping this whole thing financed for Putin and all of this lawful life on both sides? These oligarchs?
Yes, and that's all true. And not only that, but even a lot of middle-class people in Russia, they're also benefiting from war because it creates steady, well-paid jobs, and they're profiteering from this. And that's why the war is overall quite popular in Russia. And it's a poorer regions. They have to send their men to fight, and a lot of them are losing their lives or their limbs and so on. But the rich people and even middle class, they are profiteering from the war quite nicely. So they would like to, and Putin understands that. So that's why, among other things, he wants to prolong this war as long as possible for another, say, 10, 20 years would be just fine.
I have a question for Dr. Sharif, out in Bangladesh. Are you aware of any? I know we just talked about oligarchs. Are there any oligarchs in Bangladesh? Just curious.
We don't hear you, Dr. Sharif. Something's going on with your mic. No, don't hear you now. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, can hear you now.
That is the problems. Bangladesh also have different oligarch in the business, like business tycoon, right? And in the business tycoons, business organizations, they actually manipulate our politics, manipulate our democracy, manipulate our system. That's why just 1 year before, uh, I think 13, 14 months before, our all of the young people come for the demonstrations. Many people died, especially 1,400 young people. They died. Many people injured. And recently, we are reforming our government agencies, different institutions, and definitely corporations. Uh, but yeah, corruption is a major problem country like Bangladesh or India or all of the places. And this oligarch system destroy our economy. Like too much of our money, they go for money launderings and all of the things. So this is vital issue, and this is good point, John. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey,
Thanks for
this is for
answering, Chris. Thank you.
this is for everybody, and including Rick, 'cause I know you're a big fan of polls and everything, but apparently, and this came out yesterday in Forbes, Trump's approval rating is down 2 points from last week. So apparently, he is losing some support, even John, among some of his MAGA folks. So his numbers are down, but Republicans, they're saying, are far from out. But it does look like he got his lowest 100-day approval rate. Trump has the lowest 100-day approval rating in 80 years, and apparently his ratings are still
So in 7 months as president, Trump
down.
has
So what's your
has
thoughts about this?
lost
See
in,
some of the
in 7 months as president, Trump has lost 20 points of net approval. He on election day, not on the day he took office, he had plus 11.5% net approval. Now he's down 8.5%. But I'm not sure it'll make any difference. But we can hope that it will cost the Republicans the House in the midterms, but the midterms are still 15 months away. We got 15 more months of Trump doing whatever the heck he wants before there's any chance of slowing him down.
yeah. So is that good news for you, John? You're talking about the MAGA folks all the time, so maybe he's losing some of his MAGA support.
He's not losing MAGAs. His approval among Republicans remains in the high 80s. His approval among independents is down in some polls below 30%. And of course, his approval among Democrats is at 2%. But again, he doesn't give a crap. He just does whatever the heck he wants. He does not govern for the people. Even Nixon governed for the people. He did a ton of stuff, Nixon, because he could see that's what people wanted, even though he personally disagreed. He started the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. He started the war on cancer. He could have given a shit about either of those two things, but his staffers said this is what Americans are concerned with.
Yeah,
It's a cult. It's a cult with them.
You know, I mean, Trump could raise his approval by 10 points in a week if he just governed from the center. He has no fixed political beliefs, but he'd rather piss off the people he doesn't like and hurt their feelings than try to gain approval by governing from the center.
Yeah, that makes sense. Everything. Hey, Sasha, I know that at 1 o'clock we're going to have modern investment. What is the big news coming out of the investment world that folks might be interested in hearing? And of course, I know you and Milan and hopefully Jim Ede will go into further details at 1 o'clock. But what is the big news coming out of the investment world? I did mention that Apple deal that's supposed to be coming out according to Trump and his camp. But what else is going on investment-wise?
Well, overall situation is not stable at all. People are unaware of what's in the near future. The inflation. What's interesting is enough companies, they are in a view of the upcoming tariffs. They've purchased a lot of products, much more than they needed, to have available products without tariffs to be able to sell for a near future. But that will run its course. There will be no more products, and they will have to buy additional products already with the tariffs in it, and they will not be able to hide this tariff. They have to increase.
You mean America's not going to be enter a golden age? That Trump says that we're going to, after a little bit of pain, right? Obviously. And then a golden age, right? We don't believe that? I'm shocked.
There are some earnings reports coming out, and some of them are quite spectacular, but a lot of them are not. And with the inflation is definitely going to be felt very soon. I think that we are for a rough ride. I believe that the stock market has a great chance to go down 10%, maybe 15, maybe even more. So the situation is very nervous. I decreased the size of my investments lately, and planning to be very, very selective, and otherwise, in any case, downsize the investments.
Oh wow, and everything like that. Hey, Jacoby, it looks like Diddy might be trying to get a presidential pardon. So is he going to get this? Because apparently his lawyers approached Trump about a presidential pardon. So what is our thoughts, either you or Rick? Is Diddy going to get a pardon?
No, Trump said no, that Trump doesn't like some of the stuff Diddy said about him. So no, Diddy is not going to get a presidential pardon.
Well, because Diddy might, because not only did Trump go to Epstein, but Trump has photos with Diddy, so he might have been at them freak-offs. So you don't know. And plus, honestly, he would probably try and pardon Diddy to not only normalize the situation with Maxwell, to give him kind of cover for pardoning Maxwell, but also because he's going to try and use Diddy as a way to court black voters and say, hey, look, this is what I did.
I stand corrected. I buy these arguments.
So. Yeah, that's a good argument. Everything. Hey, getting off news just for a second, but getting to sports, I do have a question, because I thought every sport pretty much used smelling salts, but apparently George Kittle, who was a well-known tight end, is upset because the NFL is about to ban it. And I thought that most sports, whether it was baseball or other sports, use smelling salts regularly. I know boxers use it. So is this a legitimate concern from the NFL, this notion of getting rid of smelling salts?
I assume, I don't know, I haven't read up on it, but that you don't want to wake somebody up who's got possible head damage and send them right back into the game. I assume it has to do with the NFL is after decades of people complaining is increasingly aware of, well, not wanting to destroy the brains of its players. And so, yeah, if somebody's knocked out and you stick this foul-smelling stuff up their nose and wake them up, that may not be the best thing for their brain.
Yeah. You tell me, you've got friends in the sporting community. I think they use smelling salt sometimes even in baseball and hockey. But I was shocked when I saw that earlier today. I was looking at some other news preparing for this show, and I saw this whole notion of getting rid of smelling salt from the NFL.
I mean, what Rick said is right. I mean, if the science has improved on it and the science says that it's bad, and you're already under you're already dealing with CTE and all the other concussion stuff. Why add another layer where it could cause another issue? So if science has improved and science has said that, yeah, it would make complete sense.
That makes sense and everything along those lines. Are we, speaking of Epstein, are we going to get anything from the Clintons' testimony? Because they did get subpoenaed, both Hillary and Bill, and of course they were some of the people along with Trump that were supposedly on Epstein Island. So are we going to get anything from this whole testimony?
The people that were subpoenaed are all people on Trump's hit list. It's all people that Trump uses as buzzwords and has tried to attack. So the idea that they would subpoena these people, but not Epstein's own Epstein's own best friend, the man he spent the most time with, they're not going to subpoena him. The lawyer that got Epstein the sweetheart deal, none of the victims, anything. So this is just, again, ways of manipulating his base to make his base think that, oh yeah, we're really getting down to it. We're showing it's just a distraction. That's all it is.
Well, speaking of distractions, and I know we just had the medical show. Me and Rick were on it earlier because they moved it from when it used to be at 2:00 to 9:30 now and everything. But what is our thoughts around RFK Jr. pulling $500 million, $500 million in funding for the mRNA vaccine contract? So apparently we're not going to have.
So we're talking what, 500 billion? He's pulling 500 million.
500 million.
$500 million. The mRNA. These are a new form of vaccinations that really came into their own during COVID, saving millions of people. And he's pulling all research into it, which includes potential vaccines for cancer. Now, I've had cancer a couple times, and I'm looking forward to vaccinations like this where you can actually be cured of cancer or have it prevented via vaccination instead of via like ineffective chemo. And now RFK is shutting it down. RFK is contributing to the unnecessary deaths of tens of thousands of Americans and probably tens of thousands of people throughout the rest of the world by shutting down research. He's a know-nothing, rapist, heroin addict, asshole.
What we don't believe Trump when he says he assigned RFK Jr. to make America healthy again? We don't believe Trump when he says that? Oh, shocking.
RFK took his whole family earlier this summer. He took his whole family swimming in sewage water. He took them to a river, a stream, to frolic in this stream that was prohibited from human use because it was contaminated with fecal bacteria. RFK is a nut. He's an asshole, and he's in charge of our health system.
I agree.
He's totally a nut and everything. Speaking of nuts, apparently there's a nut here in North Carolina because there was a story that I just came across where a postal worker in North Carolina, we know postal workers are always getting in trouble because they stole more than $74,000 for hotels and flights, according to the feds. And apparently they were working at a distribution center. How do you think you're not going to get caught and everything like that? Because this man was under 30, looks like he's about 29.
Let me go back to RFK for a second.
Yeah,
RFK was addicted to heroin for something like 18 years. He said that he was a bad student until he started using heroin and it helped him calm down. So, all right, but the craziest thing about RFK is RFK kept a diary that included all of his extramarital contacts with people. Well, 29 extramarital contacts rated from 1 to 10, from 1 being flirting to 10 being full-on fucking. He kept, and 29, and he kept a diary of this. When his second wife was shown the diary or somehow found it, she hanged herself. She killed herself. This is RFK at work.
What we don't believe Trump when he says that, RFK again is going to make Americans healthy. It's going to be the golden age. What? I'm shocked that.
All right, one more thing
Trump
for people
only
who've
hires.
been.
Didn't he say that he only hires the best people?
So RFK is driving along a country road and sees a dead bear cub.
Yeah,
And-
I know all that, but
All right,
Trump says
but like people
he
don't
only hires the best, and
all right,
RFK is
all
the
right.
best.
But this is RFK. This is the guy in charge of the nation's health.
I'm
He
teasing.
grabs the
Rick.
bear cub. It's like 100-pound cub. He wrestles it into his car, and he's going to take it and turn it into bear jerky or something. And then he drives it back to Manhattan and thinks better of it. But now he has a dead cub in his car. So he takes the cub to Central Park, and he unloads it in Central Park, and he puts a wrecked bicycle next to the cub, hoping people will think that a bicyclist crashed into this cub in Central Park, and that it'll get him off the hook. This is just pure craziness from a huge asshole.
You're implying that
Maybe-
Trump doesn't hire the best and best qualified.
No, we know that's not the case. Either that, or maybe he thought he was going to do some.
All right, let's talk about Trump. Trump's first wife. Trump is losing his hair back in the 90s, and she says, go to this surgeon. Trump goes to this surgeon who does a procedure to make his bald spot smaller. The surgery, I've had similar surgery. It really hurts. It's very painful. And he comes home and he's pissed because his head hurts. So he grabs Ivana Trump, his first wife. He rips out her hair and he rapes her. And she testified to this in a legal deposition during their divorce. So, like, Trump has been a rapist for 30 years.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of issues, as does everybody else in that administration. It has definitely got a lot of problems in that space, so there's no doubt about that. So definitely he's got all kinds of issues going on.
By the way, the hair stuff, it's painful, but it's not that painful. Trump is a baby. Like, it hurts about as much as going to the dentist, all right? So Trump comes home and he's all mad because he got his head hurt a little bit.
Not the head hurting.
So,
Just having a little fun here.
yeah.
Beautiful day. Making
Yeah.
fun of the
Well,
MAGA idiots that believe his
Yeah,
crap.
but he's not here to defend himself.
Well, he's indefensible.
Well, as you know, Rick, there's at least a third of your fellow Americans that defend him ad nauseum.
Yeah, because they've been propagandized by Fox News is what, 31 years old? Fox News coincides with a third of Americans
I agree.
being made like pretty freaking nuts.
I agree.
Yep. No doubt about that. We'll keep the conversation going there for a second. I'm going to actually have to move to another computer to get us off and everything along those
All right,
lines.
let's see what else here.
Oklahoma is requiring kids to take a America First test.
That's good. I want to see more Ten Commandments everywhere. I'm just going to keep on my theme today of having a little fun.
Well, there is something happened which is not so funny, and I'm talking about Canada, which has been dealt very unfairly by Trump and the United States. And as a result of it, Canada is looking for some other avenues to continue its international trade. And it's talking now to BRICS countries, which include, as you know, China, India, Brazil, and others. And the only obstacle on that, which is being resolved as we speak, is how to settle trades in any other currency but US dollar. And it seems to me that with India, they are agreeing to trade and make payments in rupees both ways. And similar agreements could be found with other countries. So Canada more and more looking for opportunities in international trade, which absolutely cut out United States and US dollar.
This will kill us if the dollar is the world's reserve currency. It's the currency that everybody turns to do most exchanges. And if we lose that, if it becomes replaced with a Chinese yuan or some other currency, then our currency free floats and we lose this protection and it advances our fall to China by a decade or more, and it's incredibly potentially damaging.
Well,
And
nobody explains that to Donald Trump, and that's why he's running around with his tariffs and so on. He's alienating almost all world against United States, and United States losing any soft power that it used to have and quite successfully use it for so many years.
Yeah, I agree. These are all serious, very serious. The only time, the only reason I'm kind of trying to keep my sanity is, again, to inject a bit of humor, because if you do look at it seriously, it isn't funny, but that's my I guess psychological way of trying to handle this crap that Trump does on almost a daily basis, is to make fun of him, criticize him, and make fun of the MAGA idiots. That's my little, strategy for myself.
Besides, Canada is the only country that successfully retaliated to United States for its tariffs and many other things. Also, Trump didn't help himself when he was talking for a while about Canada being 51st state or so on. That you see, okay, you put 35% tariffs. Okay, you negotiate it down to 25. It's nothing personal but business. What Trump made it highly personal, highly political, and this is why Canadian behavior, which otherwise wouldn't be so alienating to United States, but because of all that, Canada is really alienated to United States. And as a retaliation is concerned, it will hike tariffs on electricity and steel and aluminum. I mean, there are so many things that United States badly needs from Canada.
Canadians are extremely united about this.
Yeah.
Extremely. I've never seen us so united.
Another issue, though, I think, which is probably the one, I don't know if we probably touched on it yesterday, and I came in late, so we probably touched on it a little bit earlier today. But with the dollar falling, with the stock market shaky, with all the economic, instability, also the issue with Canada, what you guys just expressed, as well as what's going on with Mexico, those are our two largest trading partners. Even more economic instability, and then if you throw in the fact that he just made the U.S. one of the most untrustworthy, the numbers coming out of the U.S. one of the most untrustworthy things, because if they're bad, he's going to fire anybody that says anything bad. So with the BLS firing, how can you trust the numbers now? And this is what I wanted to ask Dave on Monday, but I didn't get an opportunity to ask him. But that's the problem. Now, with us people not being able to trust the numbers coming out of BLS, most monetary things, a lot of our economy is based around those numbers. Those numbers get readjusted every time. It is normal for what happened, but he just made it abnormal because he is not going to accept what comes out. He's going to change the procedures and processes, and now you can't trust him.
Again, he doesn't know how, the government. It's not one person that decides these numbers. there's a whole hundreds of people, you know,
Yep.
and they check it and recheck it. So again, him singling out, yeah, he's politicizing economic numbers now going forward. Absolutely, people aren't going to trust anything coming out of the BLS for sure.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Brett? And then we get ready to wrap up.
I was just going to say goodbye because we're at the hour. But
Bye-bye.
also,
Yeah, the hours are
it's not just hundreds of people doing the math. It's based on tens of thousands of reports from all over the country, from thousands of businesses. All this information is compiled lickety split to give an immediate number 2 days after the end of the previous month, and then an adjusted number as thousands more reports come in. So like it's all normal business.
Trump doesn't know any of that. He thinks that one person puts out, yeah, again, he's an idiot. And the MAGA idiots that believe and trust him are friggin' idiots.
All right.
And on that note, we're going to get on out of here. We'll have more conversation about this on tomorrow, which will be on Thursday. So I'll catch y'all on tomorrow, but I'll catch you later on Modern Investment, Sasha. So I'll catch you in about 2 hours.
See you. Bye-bye.